Let's read it together. It starts out with looking at what kind of genre it is. If it's called 666 Park Avenue, it is probably drama or suspense, as 666 is the number of the devil. Where with scene number 2, it starts interior. INT means interior, inside Drake, Brian, and Louise's apartment, and it is night. Right? That's how much information we have for now. Alexis leans in the doorway as Brian quickly packs an overnight bag for Louise, who is in the hospital. So, Alexis, probably, right? One person, a woman, Brian, the guy, Louise is in the hospital. So something happened, he cleans it up for her, gives us an idea about, he's urgent about this going on. Alexis says, underwear, change of clothes, some makeup. I can't imagine Louise needs anything else right now. So, Brian zips up the overnight bag. He sits on the edge of the bag, shoulders sagging. Brian says, so Alexis, the girl, she was doing that for him. Brian says, can I tell you something? Alexis, of course, anything. Brian, beat. Beat means he takes a little breath and he waits and sees. Right before it happened, the accident, right before the elevator door closed, Brian trails off. This is difficult for him. Alexis walks over to him, sits down next to him. Right? It must have been awful watching that happen to her. I feel guilty about it. It wasn't your fault, Brian, but I feel like it was. The police checked the elevators. The repairman forgot to reset the safety mechanism. It's just one of those terrible freak accidents. Yeah, I know all that. Then, why do you feel guilty? Because right before it happened, I was thinking about you. Alexis reacts, this is what she wanted, but she was being cautious. Now Brian has crossed the threshold. Alexis takes Brian's hand in hers. She leans close to him, intimate, a beat. Then, can I tell you something? Anything. When you told me yesterday that Louise had been hurt, you know what I was thinking? What? I was thinking, sometimes things happen for a reason. What's the scene about? The scene is about, let me tell you what happens in the scene again. So, the scene is about the devil trying to corrupt Brian. Alexis is clearly the bad woman because she is hitting and she wants a guy who just lost his wife/girlfriend. Something happened with the elevator. She actually fell down the elevator shaft because the devil, which is Alexis, was able to play with the elevator and make sure that the elevator didn't work. So all of this puts this into context much more interesting. Alexis is trying to get him. Brian is trying to express his strange new love to her, although his wife/girlfriend, it's his wife, is actually in the hospital because she had this huge big accident. So, if you look at this, the first question is, well, it's drama, we know that. The second question is, where is the point of change? Where is something is so important, so new, that we gotta make this line stick out? And the answer is, can I tell you something? I was thinking about you. That's the line. That's the point of change. So Alexis, at the beginning of the scene, she has to act just like the worried friend. Just like she's trying to get him and she's trying to be there for him, but she can't act like she wants him because then that would make her obviously a bad person. We don't want that. So after that point of change, when he says, because right before it happened, I was thinking about you, she turns into loving flirtatious. So before drama goes to loving flirtation. The other way is for Brian. Brian has to be nervous in the beginning. He has this thing going on. He's looking at her, trying to get to her, trying to find the right moment, trying to deal with this inner struggle. And then when he says the line, he says the big line. Now everything is out. Now he can become more loving and more interesting and more sexually engaged with her because now it's out there and now the truth is out, so he can be on the happy, sexy, loving side. So he starts out tense and he goes to the other side. That's the first and easiest way to analyze the script. To find the point of change, to find what happens before and after, and now put all of this together. Sit down with a friend and just tape yourself. Tape yourself doing this. And I'd like to add that actors tape it once and they say, nah, and then they try the same way over and over again. I would like you to tape it now, and then I would like you to find different ways of taping that, because maybe what you're doing is not really looking like you think that what you're doing. That's why they have directors in movies, because everything that we do doesn't really come across as we want to, right? We're trying our best, but as a tool, I would like you to use a tool of taping yourself 3 times, 3 different ways. So I would like you to tape one version with Alexis being sexy from the beginning and then getting serious at the end. Then the one I just proposed where she's tense in the beginning and then gets sexy flirtatious at the end. Once where she's dramatic and sad in the beginning and then sexy in the end, because that's kind of like where you're going. And do the same thing with Brian. Tape it different ways and see if you can clearly see different changes in the casting that you're doing. In real life, you would either send all 3 or all 2, or you would see which one is the best one and just send that over.